The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.
Hello and welcome to another Soccer to the Max. This is, of course, the Soccer to the Max midweek here. And I am your host, Sean Garmer, and with me, Mr. Erik Watkins.
Woo! And dope!
Yeah, dope is how some of the teams are feeling tonight after two games on a Wednesday. You know, the last midweek we had one game. We had two we had to watch. Unfortunately, Erik had to watch his Orlando City team fall to Toronto 2-1. They fought really hard, though. Sebastian Giovinco was on point and on fire on this evening.
Yeah, I mean, fantastic what he was able to do on Saturday, getting his brace, but I would have thought City would have learned, hey, don't let TFC get out wide. That's where they're dangerous. Especially in the final third, even more especially around the 18, and that's where Giovinco helped burn us.
Yeah, certainly. And also SKC, Sporting Kansas City, beats New York Redbulls 2-0 in a game where Dwyer absolutely dominated as well. So you had two shining stars for the two games. Now, Kaka gets a goal in his comeback game. Kind of a lucky one, just kind of right there for him off the corner or free kick. I forgot which one it was. And right before you get to halftime, so it kind of set the 2-1 in motion there, and they kind of just battled the last 45. Cyle Larin missed an absolute just sitting there chance at tying it up. And,
maybe it was fate that my internet decided to get buggy because somehow the universe knew, hey, look, this isn't going so well. Poor man is sitting here sober. He's got enough to deal with. Let's spare him these horrors for just one more day. Let him figure out something else. But, I mean, Kaka, now his second game back, gets a goal. He and Larin are starting to make music together, really at the top, just above the diamond formation, and I like where this is going. Now, if Rivas and the rest of the actual diamond can continue to figure this out, there's a lot of magic that could potentially happen here.
Yeah, certainly. Orlando's been on this win streak, and they're still undefeated at home. So because this was in Toronto, but you have to hand it to them. During the streak, they've been comeback kids. They almost did it again tonight. Just sometimes that luck runs out. I feel like sometimes they're getting a little bit trying to get a little too cute. Trying to do a 1-2 Mr. Garcia on Michael Bradley probably isn't the smartest thing.
No. Again, a little too cute, a little too showing off, and a bit of a lapse in fundamentals, but
right.
I'm willing to forgive this one. Now, if it happens again, it'll be smacking time. One, I can let aside.
What do you think about we were kind of talking off air about the second goal there. Bednarik, who, the Orlando keeper, who had actually gone and got Player of the Month. Mm-hmm. And then he goes out, makes the save, and then he doesn't go back towards his goal. He kind of stays up and allows Giovinco to get that rebound, and he's got a clear shot at goal there.
Yeah, and that was just one of those momentary lapses, because when you're diving for a save like he did, it was a great dive, great reaction, had the timing just right on that one, but it was very vulnerable as far as being able to give up a rebound. And that ball just rolled just a good couple of yards away. And again, he was staying up. Had he had just enough time to try to get back closer to his goal line to prevent any kind of chaos, he didn't. Giovinco came in already having a great night. Boom. So it's just those teeny little things that for really good teams like Toronto they make you pay.
Oh yeah, certainly. It's and with Giovinco kind of being on fire right now, you've got to think anytime you give them an opportunity, they're going to put it in the back of the net, and right now that's what they're doing. Again, it's not Orlando was close here, just couldn't get it at the end, and Toronto goes on and wins a tough midweek game. I know that I can say the same for what we got out of the Red Bulls here. Sporting really dominated on both ends. You couldn't get past Iko Para. He was really just a stone wall. Susie was getting forward, Graham Susie and making things happen on, from his right back spot, and then Dom Dwyer just putting him in the net. Just a total great effort from Sporting, I thought.
And I'll say, especially with Dwyer's second goal, a little bit of a luck with the way that ball bounced. But hey, Red Bulls, did you forget how to clear properly? Because to me, it looked like you did, especially in the second half. I mean, the ball can go farther than about 20-25 yards when you do that, because you don't want the other team, especially a Jerso or a Dwyer, hanging around. First bite of the apple, they can score a goal. The idea of defense is to prevent these kinds of situations. Last time I checked.
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to be doing. New York Red Bulls defense kind of has been a bit troublesome this year at times. They're still having to rely so much on, okay, let's get up there and score, or having the situation with their team kind of constantly changing as well. So they're in a little bit of a flux, I think. And then they're so weird too. They'll win 2-0, then they'll come and lose 2-0. So we've seen that a lot of times this year.
Completely defeating the purpose.
But Sporting is one of the better teams this year, and they're leading the West with this win right now.
Leading the West, 18 points off of their 9 matches, a +8 goal difference, and let's remind everyone, they held the record for best defense as far as goals against average. They did that 5 years ago at a .79. That's flat out insane. Right now, this year, granted we're nearly a third of the way in, they've cut that record pace just a little bit more than in half. That scares me.
Oh yeah, that's really scary. Look, they have been tremendous this year on the defensive side. I mean, so many games where they only allowed, they allowed no goals at all. Several shutouts for them, or just only one. So Sporting is on the right track right now. They are looking good. Graham Zuzi, the experiment has worked for them on the right back side. Okopara's been great.
Yeah,
Dom Dwyer woke up now. So
yeah, I'm going to deem that as a success. And like you said, Dwyer woke up. He's like, hey, wait a minute. I'm not going to let Benny have the fun. I'm here too, bitch. Blam. Oh, look at what I can do.
Yeah, I mean, you could throw in a Benny Fellaver in there. at all parts of the spine, they are clicking, and it's working. And, their goalkeeper's doing pretty well as well. So, when you're rocking on all cylinders like that, your team is going to perform. And that's sort of the way things have rolled for Sporting. So 2 interesting matches on this evening to talk about, but we're going to move forward and talk a little news before we get into previews and predictions for the games starting on Friday. The Tampa Bay referendum vote came in, and by more than 20,000 votes, it was voted yes for the Outland Stadium referendum. So Tampa Bay, a little bit of a step closer for getting an MLS expansion side as part of the expansion of 28. They're supposed to announce the first 2 teams of that 28 pretty soon here. I wouldn't be surprised if it's around the All-Star game. It's usually when they want to do stuff like that. So, right now, it's Bill Edwards agreeing to fund an MLS expansion fee and an $80 million, 18,000 fan stadium within the footprint of the existing site of Outland. This seems like a good entry deal here for what you want to do to get MLS interested in making sure that you're being paid attention to as one of the 12 cities. I mean, obviously some of these cities have kind of knocked themselves out, like St. Louis and all that, but I think Tampa Bay certainly now has a foot firmly planted on being one of those 28 with this.
What? Well, there's a couple of things. One that you would think that works kind of to their disadvantage in the fact that MLS tried Tampa Bay before with the mutiny. Didn't work out too well.
Right.
But what works to
I mean, to be fair, they tried Miami too, and they're dying for David Beckham to get something figured out so they can just name the Miami team already.
Right. But with Miami, it's a little bit different because between going back to the Fusion, you've had different iterations of Miami FC, including now, again, in the NASL. Miami, you're always going to have the community to make that a soccer hub, which I get.
Plus, you got the 4 lateral strikers who have been around for a while. So
yeah, but especially after they moved and they had stadium issues and this and that, and this is why I think what will work to Tampa Bay's advantage, that whole Tampa-St. Pete area. Like the Strikers that have been around a while, the Rowdies, they won a title or 2 in the original NASL back in the 70s. When they came back and then did this version of the NASL, the current one, they kept the Rowdy name, they kept the logo, they kept the colors. They're reminding the team of that history. Not to mention, look at Outland itself. Very good area, right near the water, was an old baseball park, and this gives me an idea of what should happen next. The fact that we're keeping it here, you don't have to worry about a site, you don't have to worry about money, owners saying, I got this, I'm starting out. I think this is an excellent foot. This plays to Tampa Bay's huge advantage. And I really think this sets up, in my mind, 2 or 3 moves that should happen next to help Tampa Bay sports in general.
What do you meaning by just helping Tampa Bay sports in general there?
Okay, now, for those of you that know baseball, you know the Rays are playing in, kind of pardon my French, something of a shithole. Fans around St. Pete will kind of admit it, it's hard to get to. Players haven't really been the biggest fans, and it's been kind of blah. And Rob Manfred has said, okay, I got the CBA out of the way. I want to expand to 32 teams. Tampa Bay, Oakland, I'm calling you out to get your stadium together. Now, way back circa 2007, there were plans for a baseball park to be built on the site of Al Lang, an existing baseball park. Somewhat open air, bit of a cantilever, 30, 40,000 seats, beautiful renderings, and I'm thinking, you've got everything right here what you need. Why not pounce on this? Now, with the Rowdies and what they're going to do, they've already funded a good step of the way, and they're setting it up for soccer. Now, if I'm the owner of the Rowdies, once I get this done, and I am in the MLS mix, especially if I get approved, I go to Rays ownership and saying, you don't want to play in Tropicana. Fans don't want to go to Tropicana. MLB themselves really don't want you in Tropicana. How about we work together, make a deal, you bring in a little bit of money, expand to, say, 35,000, baseball park, we become the Yankee Stadium of the South. What do you say?
I don't know that I want that because Yankee Stadium is eventually going to get replaced. Not Yankee Stadium, but NYCFC is supposed to have their own stadium getting built right now. And in like a couple of years, they're not going to be playing in Yankee Stadium.
Okay, so, but can I tell you how stupid that is? Can I tell you how incredibly stupid that is? Especially because, and a little inside Iggy here, you know, the past couple of iterations of Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, right? You know that when they built this new Yankee Stadium just a few years ago, they intentionally had the square footage of the field and had it built just big enough to where it could easily accommodate football and working quite well soccer matches. They had that in mind. So while I get the need for SSS, how are you going to pull that off in New York? I mean, are you going to do something out at Hofstra? I really don't see the point of much of anywhere else.
I think they were talking about in the boroughs somewhere.
Oh, God. Yeah. So were the Jets. How did that work out?
The Jets, it was always whatever the Giants were going to do. I didn't see them getting their own stadium ever.
Yeah, but really, you're thinking about the same thing. You're only, 18 miles outside of Harrison, New Jersey? Hey, Red Bulls, we're coming. Be prepared. Yeah, no. See, even my microphone thinks that's a stupid idea. That should tell you something.
Well, yeah, certainly.
And I mean, even as a random idea, kind of playing off of this, for my penchant and love of that as Australian rules, if you can move the Rays out of Tropicana, you could turn Tropicana Field into an oval and you can host the St. Petersburg Swans. Done. That gives some prestige to Australian football here in the U.S. Everybody wins.
Well, I mean, as much as I want to see Australian football get some prestige in the U.S., I don't think that that's happening, and it seems like New York, the NYC is set on what they want to do here. Look, hey, these guys are arrogant. They got their money. They feel like they can do it. Then
money only gets you but so far. Look at what happened with the big club, Manchester City. They had a billionaire roll in, and yeah, they happened to break my heart and win a title, the bastards. But look at what they've been doing since.
Yeah,
not
much of anything, you know.
Exactly, bastards.
But the positive things for Tampa Bay after the really just kind of heart-wrenching thing with St. Louis. You like to see more things like this happen with referendums being positive. So great to hear for Tampa Bay, and I would like to see Florida get another team.
Yeah.
Whether Miami makes it a triangle or not, we'll have to see if that ever happens.
Make
But
the
hey,
I-4 Derby relevant again.
yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. So speaking of Orlando, they are going to be, along with the Red Bulls, they're going to host World Cup qualifiers possibly. The September and October qualifiers, to be exact. Trinidad and Tobago looks like they're going to fill the Red Bull New York Stadium. And then Orlando City is going to host the Panama game with the U.S.
Good.
So, I mean,
The Stars and Stripes need that OCSC rub, especially against Panama. I'm liking the idea. They're playing some pretty big cards right. I approve of this.
yeah, I completely agree. I want to see games. Yeah, I mean, Red Bull Arena, obviously, no doubt that there was going to be a game there. I think Orlando having a game already, this is great. Great for the city, great for the stadium. And really awesome to get to see that reaction from the Outlaws and everybody else when they fill that stadium, and how raucous it's going to be. So I'm kind of excited to watch that now. Speaking of the U.S. national team, the under-17s are pretty much almost a lock to qualify at this point. All they got to do is prevent from losing by 5 goals or more to Cuba, which that's probably not happening, especially since Honduras, who they beat 3-0, beat Cuba 7-1. If they were to draw or beat Cuba, which is probably likely, they will head to the final of the CONCACAF Champions Cup, or Champions U17 Championship, where they could join their fellow under-20s and host a trophy. So imagine that in the same year, the under-20s and under-17s hosting CONCACAF Champions trophies.
Well, before I give my take, I have one question. Is this baseball?
No.
Then we have nothing to worry about. No disrespect to Cuba. I love your women. I love your cigars. You're a baseball country. Sorry.
Right. No, you aren't wrong. You are not wrong at all.
But I mean, that being said, if I'm the U17s, I go for it. Just show how bright the future can be for the senior team. And maybe if the U17s and U20s, they can both host trophies in the same year, get better positioning and maybe a better group in their respective World Cups. Maybe that'll put a teeny bit of a spark into our Olympic team, because God knows they could use some help as 2020's starting to slowly come around the corner.
Yeah, certainly. You need to make sure you get that settled if you're going there. So, I mean, you're right about that. I'm just glad that we're in a position now that you've got the under-20s and under-17s qualifying, and it makes those World Cups certainly more worth watching. I think the under-17s is in like October or something, so they got a long way to. Yeah. They got a long way to go till then, but under-20s is pretty soon here. I think it's in June, I think it's in May. It's this month somewhere. I gotta look at this up pretty soon here while we're talking about something else. LAFC. It's been a little bit since we talked about them. They had the big rumor when we first started the podcast about Chicharito possibly going there. Now they're looking at a former MLSer and current and a big time Boca Juniors star, and also current Boca Juniors manager Guillermo Barros Escoloto, as he is leading Boca Juniors to quite an impressive record right now. And I don't blame LAFC. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, this is what we were saying a bit off air. It's like, if you can lure a big name, especially with the unfortunate issues the Argentine League is still dealing with, the time's right to strike. You want to be a big name. You don't want to be like the Clippers or like the Angels and relegate to that second team. You want to be the team. You get the big stars. You get the big coach. So that way you create those big expectations. Again, for Boca Juniors, I've been a fan of them for a long time. I'm all for this one.
Yeah, it would be great. I'd love to see that. So, look, LAFC could go after quite a few different coaches, right? I mean, they're going to command attention. They're already trying to get some big names there. Looked like, Zlatan could have been another name. Now, obviously not with the injury. They've bandied about with Chicharito. So they've got things settled there, and they are certainly trying to draw attention to themselves. But I think going with somebody that's familiar with the league and familiar with, Latin players, and he obviously has to get familiar with, the American players and everything else, but he kind of understands how this league works, playing in it for 4 seasons, played well for Columbus Crew. I'd rather somebody like that than just bringing in some big name. Not everybody's Tata and can just get things working over here. We've seen guys come over from Europe and totally bomb because they just don't get the league.
Well, that's because they think the league is inferior and it's going to be a total cakewalk, whereas they don't know the true quality of players, how they experiment with different formations, with different teams, the grueling travel schedule. Hell, and I mean, 1 month's time, you could be flying across 3 time zones and going up against a 3-5-2, a 4-1-4-1, a 4-2-3-1, etc., all week to week to week. They're not used to really that kind of versatility. And as you say, with someone with MLS experience and pretty significant South American experience as well, it's like, okay, I remember this, and this. Oh, this, and this. Hey, this, and this could potentially work. Let's do this. So you get the prestige and then level of gravitas and familiarity all in one package.
Oh, certainly. Oh, man, this is, oh, God, I forgot this tournament's in Korea at the under-20s. So, guess what happens? You have games happening at like 4 a.m.
Look, you know what? No, the last time something like that happened, it was good for the U.S. because we made the quarterfinals of the World Cup in 2002, but I was 16 and I can afford to stay up until 4 in the morning to watch matches. I'm going to be damned if that's going to happen now.
Yeah, the late games are at 7 a.m.
If they're in the middle of the week, I can maybe get up because I'm normally squirming about at 7:30 anyways.
Right, yeah, I try to get up at 7. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't.
Yeah, it's...
The first U.S. game is at 4 a.m. on Monday.
Hell no. No. Time zones, you can kiss my ass. Daylight saving or otherwise. You can have that. If I'm up at 4 in the morning, it's going to involve me, some sort of inebriation, and me putting somewhere in some sort of friendly orifice. No.
Wow. Well, he just said that on the wrong show here. But, hey, that's why we love Eric. But
look, this is what happens. I mean, as I'm recording this right now, it's nearly 1:30 in the morning, so I'm going to be walking that little blue line here.
The first game is actually Venezuela. My team is going to go and lose to Germany. What's this? They play Germany, and then Argentina and England at 3:30, and then one of the Oceania teams, Vanuatu. Seriously, Vanuatu is playing Mexico, and then Korea the home squad plays Guinea at 7 a.m. So that's your times: 1 a.m., 4 a.m., and 7 a.m. for these games, and there's 4 every day.
1 a.m., I could at least stay up and watch that drunk and go to sleep.
Right.
4 a.m. isn't happening. 7 a.m., if I have to go to work, I can at least catch some of it. But I'm sorry, how did Vanuatu make the U20s? I mean, did New Zealand fall asleep?
Yeah, I guess so, because there's 2 teams that come out of the Oceania for under 20s.
Mm-hmm.
So let me see how this worked out. It was the 2016. Oh no, it's New Zealand and Vanuatu that are in.
Okay, so yeah, because yeah.
Normally it's like I guess. So it's actually like the Cook Islands one group. Oh wait, no, they didn't. Hold on. So Vanuatu was in a group with New Caledonia, Fiji, and Papua New Guinea. And then New Zealand was in I guess you could call it the harder group, with Solomon Islands, Tahiti, and Cook Islands. Tahiti's made it before.
Yeah, so. I'm sorry. This is Oceania. There's no such thing as a group of death. It's New Zealand, maybe Tahiti, Fiji if they care, although they're a rugby country. Papua New Guinea's a rugby country. Those other ones are just dots.
Right.
Again, no disrespect to Oceania, but you're Oceania. Australia.
Yeah, but then when Vanuatu got into the final, they got whooped by New Zealand 5-0.
Exactly.
So it just shows you, maybe they should do exactly what they do in the main World Cup and just give them one slot or half. I think you can give them one slot for the under 20s, and then just give the other one to one of the other countries or whatever, or places on the continent. But hey, I get it. It's the under 20s. You want to progress some of these other teams,
But again, do you know the national sport of Fiji?
Cricket?
Rugby sevens. That's what they care about. That's what they're good at. And congratulations to them. Your island just got torn to hell by a natural disaster, a typhoon, if I remember correctly. Your rugby sevens team says, you know what? People back home are in kind of a terrible mood. This is what we're good at. This is what we compete at. They went ahead and they won a gold medal. That's never going to happen with soccer. They need to accept that, and I think they do.
So before we get into talking about the games here, I just wanted to have this little thing that might start a discussion or might not. Might just be a total agreement, and it could just end in about a couple minutes. But the owner, Merritt Paulson of the Portland Timbers, when asked, he said that I'd argue that you're under more of a microscope in the community of Portland for soccer than you are in Los Angeles for the Galaxy. Caleb Porter is more of a recognizable figure in the community of Portland than anybody who's coaching the Galaxy. Well, duh. But he says, in my mind, there's more pressure on the head coach, Caleb Porter, here than there is of whoever's coaching the Galaxy. What do you think? I've seen a lot of people talking about Kurt Anolfo needs to go.
Yeah.
All this stuff. Portland's doing fine. So that's not a thing with Caleb Porter. But it kind of was coming in the season like, hey, if they have another one of these years where they don't make it to the playoffs, is it time?
Okay.
What do you think?
I will present my argument by posing this question. What are the sports teams in L.A.?
Oh, you got the Chargers now.
Uh-huh.
You got the Dodgers.
Uh-huh.
You got the Lakers, Clippers.
Uh-huh.
And the Angels.
Uh-huh.
And you got the other football, the Rams.
Uh-huh. Okay.
And the Kings.
Right. keep that list in mind. Okay? What are the sports teams in Portland?
The Trailblazers.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. And I guess, if you want to throw in, the Oregon Ducks and all that, whatever.
Nope. Mm-mm. Nope. Mm-mm. I rest my case. There's more to do in L.A. It's L.A. It is more of a hub, really, for a lot of different sports, especially because for baseball, the Dodgers are the team. As a matter of fact, let me break it down to you in fan bases. You have the teams: Dodgers, Lakers, Rams, Kings. And then you have the secondary teams: Angels, Clippers, Chargers. LA and New York are really two.
And LAFC comes in next year.
Okay, when they're going to be in a battle, but right now, the Galaxy falls into that first group until LAFC knocks them off. They are among the Dodgers, Lakers, etc. Of LA sports. So they're under a huge microscope because when it comes to soccer, they are the team. Even when they had Chivas USA, the Galaxy were the team.
Right.
With the Timbers, especially now that the Blazers are out of the playoffs, you're pretty much the only team.
Right, and soccer's huge in Portland, so,
Well, yeah, soccer's huge in Portland, and Portland, hey, shout out to Portlandia. Keep Portland weird. I love Portland. I would be glad to go up to Portland. Beautiful place. Would love to visit, especially hop over, get myself some voodoo donuts. Fine. But you're under the microscope because you're the only team. There's a big difference when you're the team among a class of 5 or 6 versus the team among a class of 2.
Yeah, you're totally right. When it's just 2 teams.
And again, Portland, you haven't even had any other team since the Portland Breakers of the USFL back in 1985.
And then you got the Portland Thorns from the NWSL. So
okay,
I'm just saying, they even have a women's soccer team.
Mm-hmm.
LA doesn't even have a women's soccer team, so that shows you how big soccer is there. To whereas if LA only had the 2 teams or whatever, maybe soccer is even bigger. So and it's still pretty big for what it is.
Yeah, and again, you have women's soccer, I counter. Portland's never had a professional lacrosse team. LA has. Anaheim has. Right. I get it, but don't, with all due respect, don't flatter yourselves. Don't flatter yourselves.
Certainly. I think, look, there's more pressure on Caleb Porter than Kurt Onalfo because the Galaxy are way down there in the totem pole, but there's, if you're comparing MLS, Galaxy is still one of those teams that if they were doing better, I think people would be talking more about the league. It's just one of those things. The Galaxy is one of those teams that if you know anything about MLS, you know who the Galaxy are. Just their name is kind of cool anyway. So
they're the cornerstone franchises. And when you talk about cornerstone franchises, DC United, New England, Red Bulls, Columbus, LA Galaxy. I'll even throw you a bone and say FC Dallas. I'll give you that one. Cornerstones. When they're doing well, the league as a whole is doing well. Portland is a great team and a great city, but it's still Portland. You ain't cornerstone status. You came way too late to the game. You're not going to be cornerstone status.
Right.
Mm.
It's Portland needs to. I think you need to just focus on what's on the field. So
Exactly. You tried even to bring in other sports, and well, it failed miserably. But you tried. So this is what you got, and you know this is what you got.
That's exactly it. So now let's move on to the games happening this weekend, starting with one game on Friday here with Colorado and Vancouver at 10 o'clock at night. Talk about the nightcap, I guess.
Well, it's a Friday night. People are going to be going out, drinking something, smoking something. Me and my alternative plans, which I teased on with Point of Viewer, which I'm certainly not going to mention here, but yeah, you may or may not want to stay tuned to Snapchat. Also keep in mind this is Colorado, so it's only going to be, 8 o'clock Mountain? It makes sense. Now, granted, if you happen to see a gigantic cloud of smoke, you know why.
Right.
I mean,
it's it's Colorado. They have not been playing well at all. Vancouver
is. Look at what Vancouver's been doing. I saw that.
Vancouver's improving. Somewhat.
If the rain jerseys can't help you right now, I don't know what can.
Hey, they won, so that's what matters. They beat Montreal, so I would say that Vancouver, Colorado is at home here. I think it's gonna be one of these 1-1s or something.
You took the words right out of my mouth. 1-1. And Colorado, you're lucky you're at home because you've been doing a bit of a disgrace to the yellow jerseys. There's a level of disappointment that
you and these yellow jerseys,
Rapids.
Man. That's
what? I think they hold a special place in my heart. You know that. And this brings about a level of disappointment that I usually don't get to. So, just keep that in mind, Rapids. And, granted, I know you're at home, so you're probably going to be wearing the purple, but still, I've got my eye on you.
So, early, 3 o'clock, ESPN gets this dandy of a game. Seattle at home against Toronto FC, who just played in the midweek and won. Ooh.
Okay. MLS Cup rematch. But as you said, Toronto flying across the continent and across the border. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm going to say Seattle here. I think a 2-1 or something. Probably.
I'm closer to 2-0.
2-0, wow. I don't know. I feel like Giovinco could still hit one in there.
Yeah, but as a team, you've seen midweek travel and playing on short rest. It's not too friendly. I don't know.
No, it's not.
I don't know how much Toronto's going to have. Now, luckily, they're traveling east-west instead of west-east, so that's a factor, but still, no.
Then after this game, you get the 6 o'clock DC United and Montreal. Montreal coming off the loss we just talked about. DC, of course, giving it to Atlanta 3-1.
Where in God's name did that come from? Now, granted, I told United after the first 10 minutes they need to be careful because Atlanta does not screw around. But without Joseph Martinez and having a much bigger target in Williams, DC United kind of played to that. And hopefully Bill Hamid's back to 100%. But DC United being DC United of recent years, I see them laying an egg.
Oh, I think they could win this one. 1-0 against Montreal. I mean, look, you gotta figure out what you're gonna do, how you can stop Piatti and all that. But
exactly, and that's why I say Montreal is more likely to win 1-0. DC United is going to keep some momentum, but I mean, until they can prove to me they can pull 2 games in a row like a magic handkerchief out of their hat,
Fair enough. I'll go with you on that. I do think though DC could still get the win in the end here. So Philadelphia, who has been on the slide, they just have not looked. Yeah, they have not won, and they drew with the Galaxy of all teams. 0-0, not scoring either. The Red Bulls, of course, they put it up an over in the midweek game that we just talked about. I think this is one of those where the Red Bulls flip-flop. They lost in the midweek. They'll win this one 2-0.
I'm with you mostly because I don't... Okay, Philadelphia, what the hell is wrong with you? I mean, I have to genuinely ask, what the hell is wrong with you?
Yeah, they're not clicking at all.
I could go out there fielding a starting 11 and get lucky enough to win once. Are you achieving some sort of historical futility? If so, I'll get on board for that. But if you're not, then what the hell is wrong with you?
Man, you just you giving me the bundles of laughs here, man. This is
like I
too much fun.
It's late. You're throwing me softballs. I'm gonna hit them, and this is what I see. This is what I think. This is what I have to ask.
Wait, hold on. Why are they? You know, there's a week here coming up that they play all the games on Wednesday.
Wait. Is that this week coming up?
No. It's 2 weeks from now, but it's the week of the under 20 World Cup that we just got done talking about. They play all the games on a Wednesday. That's gonna be fun.
No, yeah, I'm sensing her.
And one of the games is at 10:30. It's Orlando playing San Jose.
In San Jose, I would assume.
And then they take a month off. So.
Okay.
Yeah, for the I guess the under 20s and the Confederations Cup starting up.
Yeah,
because the Gold Cup's not till July. So.
Hey, Don Garber. You and I need to have a little bit of a sit-down because you were doing okay for the longest time of this scheduling, but some ain't right. Everything okay?
Yeah,
right?
You also got the World Cup qualifiers and all that in there, too. So.
Well, for international break and everything, I can understand, but I ain't going up on a Wednesday for next to... No! Don! Throw me a bone here.
Yeah, Don.
Christ.
So, continuing on here, Columbus playing New England. This should be fun. There could be plenty of scoring in this game. You know what? This could be one of those. New England just played in a 3-3 game. This could be another one of those 3-3 games.
This is either going to be something on the lines of 5-5 or a 4-0. It depends on how much Columbus cares.
I think they'll care because they got a midweek game against Toronto.
Okay, if they care, then they're just going to put this away, smack New England around a little bit, and
New England just
Toronto.
drew with Seattle on the weekend. I mean,
and again, like I said about DC United, do you think that organization can pull 2 of those in a row?
They certainly have the talent to do it.
Talent and ability are 2 different things. I have the talent to go and do a lot of things. Am I able to? No. I have the talent to work in certain industries. Am I able to? No. Because sometimes certain bits get shy in certain situations.
Oh, man. You know what? I'm going to say we get one of those draws, 2-2 or something for Columbus and New England. Houston playing the Orlando team that just got done here in Houston. This could be a fun game, too.
Now, this one I see is more of a 2-2. Orlando fights back, but Cubo Torres, he's going to be a pest.
I agree with you. He is going to be a pest. I see these. This is like a 1-1 here. I just think, Orlando's going to be smarting a little bit. They're going to want to come in and fight, but I think Houston will score one late or something to that extent to kind of keep it at the draw. FC Dallas, who keeps surviving as the only undefeated team in the league. They did it again last week. Real Salt Lake is who they're seeing this time. In our Real Salt Lake, Javier Morales gets to go to his old stomping grounds. I think he bags a goal, and I think FC Dallas wins this one 2-1.
It's not going to snow, is it?
That I don't know right now.
If it doesn't, 2-0 Dallas.
Yeah, I think Dallas has kind of been easing themselves back in ever since that CONCACAF Champions League ordeal. They lost that big one to San Jose.
They stopped giving up goals right at the death, so that's phase one.
That's a plus, yeah, but you want to get more wins, not less draws. Let's see that happen here. LA Galaxy, who are having problems scoring in almost anything else, going against this red-hot Chicago team. It's in LA. Does that make any kind of difference? Chicago did lose to the Redbulls last week, so.
I see Schweinsteiger scoring, Fire winning, maybe coach getting fired because of it. Depends how bad.
Yeah, 1-0 Fire. Wouldn't be surprised to see that.
Yeah, if it's 1-0, then someone gets to keep their job. If it's 2-3-0, then someone's getting the boot.
Whew. Well, there you heard it. Somebody might be getting the boot after that game. And in the final game of Saturday with San Jose, this one could be some fun here. San Jose and Portland. In San Jose at Avaya Stadium.
I'm sorry, did you say this one could be fun?
Yeah, San Jose's a pretty fun team to watch. And Portland, you know what they do.
I know what Portland does, but again, San Jose, it's Wondolowski and
Godoy. And that defense that keeps things going for San Jose. They did win.
Okay,
so,
but I'm sorry. Have you seen Portland, especially in the middle of the field? Nagby to Adi, come on now. Come on now.
I know. Valeri too, but, I mean... I'm just saying, I think Portland's going to win too, but give San Jose some credit here. They've been playing well.
I'll give them credit when someone other than Wondolowski becomes a legit scoring threat. People are getting close, but no.
Wondolowski hadn't really been the guy scoring that much. It's been other guys, so.
If they keep it up, okay, but
So you think Portland's winning then? I take
Yeah. 2-1. See, I'm giving San Jose credit.
2-1 seems pretty fair. Look at that. This could be another one of these. Just like the result tonight for Sporting, I could see it happening here for Sporting against Minnesota United in Minnesota. Sporting 2-0 still. I'm good with that on FS1. This is your first of the doubleheader on the other one being on Univision at 4 o'clock. So.
Yeah, hey there. Yeah, them Loons, they're kind of the big time deal now. Or while
they went back to their losing ways last week, so.
Yeah, but okay. That's all that's going on. I mean, not time for the Vikings yet. Twins are still kind of Wilder out. So pressure's all on the Loons. And no.
No,
At some point, I want to feel bad, and I might, but no.
A game that could, once again, be fun here. NYC FC against Atlanta to end the week.
Am I wrong for thinking that this is another one that could be like first 1 to 4 wins?
You wouldn't be wrong, no.
If they play any shred of defense, I'm going to get mad. I just am.
A Yankee Stadium, you just want to see them scoring. That's it.
Exactly. Atlanta, they need to recover and find a poor, helpless victim that they can punch after getting knocked out like they did. And again, Yankee Stadium, that 4-3-3 has some great home cooking, and they should stay at Yankee Stadium as far as I'm concerned. You don't leave a potentially winning building just because you have your own fancy, shiny arena. Ooh.
They're going to do it. Just stop it. That's actually part of the MLS thing. Like them coming in was getting their own stadium and not playing Yankee Stadium forever. So. You know how the MLS is? They want these new stadiums. They want these pretty stadiums to be able to say, hey, look, everybody's got their own stadium.
And you know how I am. I will
personally, I want them to because I want them to be able to not have to rely on the NFL and all this and schedule around there. And maybe we can talk about eventually going to the FIFA calendar. So.
What? FIFA would. Sean, I love you, but what?
Yes, I want them to be off and playing the same time as all the other leagues. Why not?
Okay, Sean. Let me pull an old head moment and have a bit of a sit down here. See, we live in America. A wondrous place full of all kinds of issues and always finding a way to make the news for one reason or another. See, here in America, we have things called other sports, some of which we invented, others we act like we invented, even though we really didn't. Now, with these other sports, how we have a very inflated sense of ourselves, we make those a very big presence certain times of year, to where you arrange 3-day events just for people getting picked to play in them. We don't give that kind of prestige to soccer. Have you ever seen the MLS Super Draft televised? Especially on even half major networks?
It's been televised on ESPN before.
Okay, how many times?
I don't know, but listen. They need to be to where they don't have to sit there and play while the freaking World Cup is going on. Come on.
Okay, and okay, they're not going to be playing while the World Cup is going to be playing in 2022.
Well, come on. Come on now.
Hey.
That shouldn't be happening in the winter, and you know it.
You're the one talking about the FIFA calendar. How did that happen?
That is a one-time anomaly, and we're bringing that up again.
Yes, as a matter of fact, because thanks to this one-time anomaly, I mean, first of all, you have other European countries that don't strictly adhere to the FIFA calendar because of weather. And you even have top FIFA officials saying, hey, maybe MLS calendar is something that's going on right. We got this whole situation going on and having a cup where when it should be played and you can fry a freaking egg on the roof of a stadium or on top of someone's bald head, maybe we need to fix a couple of things. Maybe they have a brilliant idea after all.
Or maybe you just shorten the season a bit because there's no reason why these European soccer seasons need to go from a whole school year.
Well,
Just think about that. They go from August to May.
Well, I completely agree with that, and that's why I think Brazil was completely stupid adapting the European double round robin format. That's why they've been pretty crap in World Cups since '02.
I mean, even
Don't
though
get me
most of their
wrong,
players don't play in Brazil, but
But even still, Brazil adopted the European style, and they still do have a lot of domestic players, and then they go in Europe. Some of them tear it up, but others just don't. It's not like the days where you have Ronaldo going over and lighting up Real Madrid. I mean, yeah, you got Neymar, but that's about it. And you know that.
yeah. Yeah, you got Marcelo and a few other guys, you know.
Okay.
But anyway, this game should be fun. That wraps up that week. We do have to talk about one more game because we'll be covering what happened during that game, not necessarily giving predictions. Columbus taking on Toronto in the midweek. It's in Columbus. Toronto gets the midweek twice in a row. I wonder how that works. You know, this also could be fun, again, because Columbus likes to score, so does Toronto. They go up and down. I'll give Toronto the edge on this one. 2-1 again.
I was going to say 3-2 on this one.
Yeah, it could. It could happen. Why not, right?
Yeah, I mean, especially with, again, how Toronto likes to play wide. Columbus, sometimes a little shaky late in games. All of a sudden, they give up a late winner. It could happen.
It certainly could. So, that's going to do it for us talking MLS during the midweek. We'll be back on Sunday. It'll be just Eric and I again, as Eric already mentioned that Rachel has other commitments, which is totally fine. That's what we're here. That's why we're a team, and we pick each other up when another one has to do something else. So, until we see you again on Sunday, enjoy your soccer, enjoy the MLS, and whatever other league you watch, and we will see you later, buddy.
Peace.
The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.